It was a night unlike any other, where the electrifying devotion to Elvis Presley took a dramatic and unexpected turn. The air was thick with excitement, fans screaming at the top of their lungs, their energy building to an almost uncontrollable frenzy. But then, chaos erupted, and Elvis found himself at the center of something no one could have anticipated. Even his most experienced bodyguards, men who had seen it all, were left stunned, unsure of how to react. What unfolded next would leave everyone in the venue absolutely speechless. Stay tuned to uncover the shocking events of that unforgettable night. By the 1970s, Elvis Presley was no longer just a performer. He was an icon, a cultural phenomenon who had transcended music to become a living legend. His concerts weren't merely performances, they were monumental events that captured the hearts of millions. Fans didn't just attend, they planned, they traveled, they devoted entire days and weeks just for a chance to be in the same room as the king of rock and roll. From small-town America to bustling cities, his presence was magnetic, drawing crowds like no one else could. Each show carried with it the promise of something magical, a chance to witness the man whose music had shaped a generation. On this particular night, the stage was set for another legendary performance. The venue was packed to the brim with eager fans, their excitement palpable as they waited for the show to begin. The city buzzed with anticipation, streets flooded with concert-goers who had come from far and wide, ready to experience the magic of Elvis live. This wasn't just another stop on his tour. It was a night that carried an air of significance, an unspoken sense that something unforgettable was about to happen. The energy in the room was electric, the kind of atmosphere that left everyone holding their breath in anticipation. But as the night unfolded, it became clear that this would not be a typical Elvis performance. The usual awe and excitement in the crowd began to transform into something far more intense, something uncontainable. What started as a celebration of Elvis's unmatched talent turned into a moment of chaos and disbelief. No one, neither the fans nor the seasoned professionals on his team, could have predicted what was about to happen. This wasn't just another concert to remember. It was an event that would leave an indelible mark on everyone who witnessed it. The atmosphere inside the venue crackled with electricity, a palpable energy that sent chills through anyone who stepped into the crowd. Thousands of devoted fans filled every seat, their voices merging into a symphony of anticipation that echoed through the walls. They chanted his name, waved signs, and screamed in unison, their excitement building like a tidal wave before it crests. It wasn't just enthusiasm, it was something almost primal, the kind of raw devotion that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Even before Elvis stepped onto the stage, it felt as though the crowd was on the edge of a moment that would change everything. The warm-up acts played their hearts out, but the audience's focus remained firmly on the king. They cheered politely, but their eyes kept darting toward the clock, counting down the seconds until Elvis would appear. As the final notes of the opening act faded, the venue seemed to hold its breath. Then, the lights dimmed, and the first chord from Elvis's band rang out like a thunderclap. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming, a deafening roar that shook the very foundation of the building. The walls seemed to vibrate with the sheer force of the crowd's adoration. This wasn't just applause, it was an eruption, a collective release of the excitement that had been building for hours. But as Elvis finally walked onto the stage, something about the energy in the room shifted. The cheers, though joyous, carried an intensity that felt almost volatile, teetering on the edge of control. The usual buzz of excitement was still there, but now it was charged with an unpredictable edge. Fans were standing, some climbing onto chairs for a better view, their movements jittery with anticipation. It was clear this wasn't going to be a typical Elvis concert. The atmosphere held a weight, a tension, as if everyone in the room could sense that something extraordinary, and perhaps even shocking, was about to unfold. As Elvis stepped onto the stage, the venue erupted in a cacophony of cheers and applause that seemed to shake the very air. His presence alone was enough to ignite the crowd, who surged forward with an almost uncontrollable fervor. As he began to sing one of his signature hits, the energy in the room intensified, spilling over into something far beyond admiration. Fans began pushing against the barriers, their sheer determination overpowering the security measures in place. It was no longer just about watching the king of rock and roll. It was about getting closer, about touching the man whose voice and charisma had captivated the world. What started as excitement was quickly spiraling into chaos. Even Elvis's seasoned bodyguards, men who had spent years managing wild crowds, found themselves overwhelmed by the scene unfolding before them. One later admitted that the intensity of the moment left him cold with fear, saying, "I've never seen anything like it." The fans weren't just excited, they were desperate, their movements frantic and uncoordinated as they surged toward the stage. Barriers that had been designed to hold back thousands buckled under the pressure, leaving the team scrambling to contain the growing chaos. The tension in the room was palpable, the kind of danger that made every second feel like it could tip the situation into catastrophe. Then, the unthinkable happened. Fans began leaping toward the stage, driven by an almost primal need to reach their idol. Some made it, grabbing at the edge of the platform before being pulled back by security. Others weren't so lucky, missing the stage entirely and falling hard onto the concrete below. The crowd pressed forward relentlessly, their energy unstoppable despite the growing number of injuries. Security guards fought to regain control, but the sheer force of the crowd made it an uphill battle. Through it all, Elvis kept performing, his voice unwavering even as the chaos unfolded just feet away. It was a moment of pure intensity, one that no one in the room would ever forget. Amid the chaos, as fans surged and security scrambled, Elvis remained a pillar of composure. He didn't falter, his voice soaring above the frenzy like a lighthouse cutting through a storm. Even with the crowd's wild energy spilling over into the stage's edges, Elvis carried on with an air of unwavering professionalism. It was as if he understood that his presence alone could anchor the room, and he refused to let the unfolding chaos steal the moment. To those watching, it seemed impossible that he could remain so steady in the face of such turmoil. Yet that was the power of Elvis Presley, a calm strength that left his team in awe. Bodyguard Dave Hebler, who had seen countless Elvis performances, later recounted the night with a mixture of disbelief and unease. "The crowd went berserk," he admitted. "Even the cops couldn't stop them." Hebler described the moment he realized the barriers wouldn't hold, a chilling realization that sent a wave of fear through the team. Despite their experience with rowdy fans, this night was different, more intense, more uncontrollable than anything they'd faced before. For Hebler, it was a stark reminder of the sheer power Elvis had over his fans, a force that could ignite both joy and chaos in equal measure. Fans who were there that night remember it as nothing short of surreal. Many described the crowd's energy as overwhelming, an eruption of passion and devotion they had never experienced before. Some spoke of being swept up in the tide of bodies, their movements no longer their own, as the collective force of the crowd pushed them forward. Others watched in awe and fear as fans risked injury to get closer to the stage, the atmosphere charged with an intensity that defied explanation. For those lucky enough to witness it, the night became a defining moment, not just of Elvis's career, but of their own lives, forever etched in their memories as a mixture of exhilaration and chaos. The chaos reached its peak when several fans managed to breach the security barriers and make their way onto the stage. The scene was chaotic and surreal. Elvis, mid-performance, suddenly found himself face to face with overzealous admirers who had defied all odds to reach him. As security scrambled to pull the intruders back, Elvis had to act quickly. In one instance, he famously fended off a particularly determined fan, using his boot to gently kick them off the stage while maintaining his composure and never missing a beat in his performance. It was a moment that revealed both the adoration of his fans and the unpredictability of their devotion, a dangerous mix that kept everyone, including Elvis, on high alert. Through it all, Elvis's connection to his fans remained unshaken. Even in the face of chaos, he exuded a sense of calm and understanding that spoke volumes about his relationship with those who adored him. After the show, when asked about the wild events of the night, Elvis shrugged off the chaos with his characteristic charm, saying, "I love 'em. Without them, I'd be lost." It was a testament to the bond he shared with his audience, a connection so powerful it inspired unparalleled devotion and sometimes crossed into uncharted territory. This unbreakable link between the king and his fans was what made moments like these unforgettable, leaving everyone in awe of both his charisma and his ability to handle even the most intense situations with grace. If you enjoyed this story and want more incredible moments from the life of Elvis Presley, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. We'd also love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about the unforgettable events of this night? Share your opinions or stories in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going.